Howdy folks, it's Meandering Mike in the Man Cave of Madness, and we are doing our How to Play playthrough of In Magnificent Style. This is a game by Herman Lettman. It was originally published by Victory Point Games, like 2012, I think, about. It came out in a Ziploc form, and then they came out in a boxed form, albeit a small, little boxed form, the same size as the Ziploc, basically. And now zoom forward about 9 years from that point, they came out with this Worthington Games Deluxe Edition with much bigger map. I'm going to zoom out here so you can see it in all its glory. Instead of a thing about this big, it's that big, including, charts and tables on the side and such. So much nicer counters and cards for the events instead of having chits. They had two-sided chits, the Union and the Confederate, and instead you draw a card and there's more detail on them so you can get all the information on the card and don't have to look things up. So that's part of the deluxeification. Now, are the two games the same? Yes, but they did change some rules. And I have not fine-tooth combed them, but I believe the biggest change was in how you resolve bayonet combat. That's when Union Brigade gets up to the far end and actually gets into the Union position. Boom, they engage in close combat, bayonet combat, and you have a different resolution system for that compared to the Victory Point games. There might be some other minor things, but the biggest thing is that bayonet combat. I'm not going to cover that until we actually get there. So this is mostly going to be a play and learn as we go. I am going to quickly talk about the setup here. You can see across the bottom, there are 9 areas. Each column is for one of the Confederate brigades, all right? There are zones, sort of like a set of a block of 3, 3, and 3. So this is area 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9. And there's this little special little mini 10 there. There's an area up there where there's a stone wall, and there's a recessed area where they sort of have a crossroad. They call that the angle of death, sort of. That's a special area there that in these 4 spaces, if there's Confederates there, anything that causes them to take damage, they take 1 additional damage there. So that's a nasty spot. All right. So we've got a column for each brigade. The brigades cannot move sideways. Okay, they must keep going up their column position. Now, there is a way to transfer some forces across from one brigade to another if a leader does a special redeploy option. If they don't do anything else in their turn, there is a way to transfer some strength over. And I haven't seen many people do that option. However, I'm going to try to take advantage of that for my strategy, for my playthrough here. Because one of the things I think I'm going to try to do is, because of this nasty killing zone here, I'm going to try to transfer some strength out of these guys over here to try to beef up this to some extent. I'm trying to go for a win, but not like a huge decisive victory. If you go for the gold, go for the gusto, and try to totally win as the Confederates, a good chance are you're going to get smeared. You're probably going to maybe do worse, because trying to attack everywhere equally, I think, is going to... You can get lucky. But my hope, my plan is to transfer some of the strength out and see if I can beef up this part here. Now, there is this part here, this angle of death, but one advantage of this corner right here is once you get into bayonet combat, the Union gets support from the flanking positions. Well, since this one is forward, it does not have anything here. So this guy is only going to potentially get one bonus from here. So if the Confederates can hit this far outside and this first and potentially get in there, then they can start to peel in and hopefully to take them all and get all 6 of these contiguous regions there. And that can give them, if they have enough troops left over, that can give them an actual victory. Now, quick statement of note here. I was born in the South. I was born in Sumter, South Carolina. I do not sympathize with rebel causes. I am not a lost cause or anything like that. I was born in the South, but that doesn't mean I root for the rebels. I will root for them because I'm playing them in this game, right? So I'm going to my best to try to win, but does that not mean that I wished or hoped that the South had won? No, absolutely not. So that being said, we'll continue from there. So each column, sectors. So these first 1, 2, 3 sector, these numbers on the random events can be like artillery can hit a certain zone or something, and units in that zone can take damage. There's also a notion of green, yellow, and red zone, that certain casualties are modified by how far you are away from the enemy. And so if the Union does their volley fire shooting, they're not going to do much of any damage way up here in the green zone as the Confederate troops are stepping off. As they get into the yellow zone, they can take more, and in the red zone, definitely can take more hits. And worst of all is there the little section called the angle. The closer the Confederates get to the Union, though, there's some slight benefit, and that is that these positions of the Confederate, and I haven't applied them yet, there's going to be the pre-bombardment that happened that was, they were hoping, the Confederates were hoping that it would really disorder and affect the Union line, that they would be quite weakened. I think, they overestimated the effect that their barrage was going to have. But the way that's simulated in the game is there's a number of these fire markers that are applied. They have 2 sides. One just says fire -1 SV. SV stands for strength value, a strength point. That means that unit's been attacked, it's been bombarded, but you don't really know how much damage was done, but the assumption is going to be there was at least some suppressive effect. And so if those units shoot, for every one of those fire -1 SVV markers on them, they will shoot with 1 less strength value. Okay. You don't know how much is actually done. It can be from 1, 2, or 3 hits. There can be a miss, or there can be a, what is it? There's 2 special ones that are like here it is. Unsteady effect, which affects bayonet combat. And there is a suppression effect that only affects volley fire. Now, those are temporary markers, which means when those are revealed, they're suppressed. Those will only last through the end of that game turn. So if these get revealed early, at the end of the turn, they're going to be removed. So it's not a lasting effect. So that unsteady half bayonet, if that gets revealed early before the Confederates are ready to actually get in the space and contest for at bayonet point, it's not going to do anything. All right. But obviously the misses and the hits will. Okay. So before we put those on there, we'll finish explaining a few more bits and pieces of the rules. So we have these brigades. Each brigade is part of a division. Now, because these guys stay in their lane, in their column, you can see down here where it says this is the division commander. Pettigrew. Well, this guy's under Trimble. Pettigrew. Okay? So Pettigrew and Trimble were actually from the 3rd Corps, A.P. Hill's 3rd Corps. Pickett over here, he commanded this division, Pickett's division, with Garnett, Armistad, and Kemper, which were part of Longstreet's 1st Corps. So even though Longstreet was in command of this whole attack, this is the only division that was actually Longstreet's division, headed by Pickett. All right. So there are actual general commander markers here that can be assigned. Each turn, the Confederates can reassign which brigade that the general is going with, okay, which one he's sort of directly commanding and directing, and potentially can give a bonus to, okay? They can do 1 bonus each turn. They can do things such like re-roll a movement die roll if it's a bad effect. They can add one strength if the Confederates get an open fire event where they're shooting back, volley back. They can add 1 to that strength. If they're actually getting way up there into the bayonet combat and they haven't used their ability yet, they can get +1 die on the bayonet combat. They can also ignore a certain retreat result for certain events, but not normal route results and things. I mean, a route result is a movement die roll effect, and they haven't used the thing. You definitely probably want to re-roll the route. You probably just don't want to take that normally. There's actually some strange situations where maybe you would take the route, but now, let's see. Bonus +1 hit in open fire, reroll a movement die roll. Okay, in other words, rally around the flag, which is if there's an event that gives the Confederates some reinforcements or replacements, stragglers or some reinforcements to the line. If you're applying those plus strength into a brigade that has the division commander there, and he elects to use his ability that turn, he can get +1 extra strength value. And the thing that I mentioned that they can do is that redeploy, that at the end of their turn, when a unit has finished a given brigade has finished its activation, has decided to not continue to push its luck, and is regrouping, and there's a leader with them, and he has not used his ability yet, he may elect to do a redeploy the battle line, it's called, and he can transfer units to an adjacent unit. So, for example, let's say we have these guys here, okay, and say he moved here and he finishes his turn. This unit is regrouping. We've not used Trimble here. He could elect to transfer points to an adjacent unit. Now, this is very important to note. Adjacent means adjacent sideways or diagonally. Okay? He's adjacent to him and him. He's adjacent. He's adjacent. All right? There's no adjacency, right? He's adjacent to him. He's adjacent to him. So as long as it's diagonal or horizontal, you can never have more than one division in the same column, or brigade. Sorry, never more than one brigade. So I have seen other people just totally not realize that that's adjacent. Anytime you have a battle line effect in this game, you're taking, and it's not always based on the general. This redeployment, this special redeploy the battle line means I could take, like, for example, 2 guys here. So my strategy talking about wanting to, get my way up here, I might transfer guys over to here, for example. Now, I might want to, Trimble can't be here. This is Pettigrew's, but let's say I had Pettigrew here and Trimble here. I could go and take guys out of here to give to here. Can't take the whole thing. You got to leave one behind. But let's say I take 5 out of here and put in here. He can go up to 15. Now, that's one thing about this game. Unlike if you've played Crowbar, Ranger, Point to Hawk, you're limited how big these guys can go over. You can get replacements, reinforcements. You can go over 10. You can just add more, change. So you could do this. You could take this out. He could redeploy. You could do a redeploy the battle line, move 5 to here, and then say, let's say that was his turn. And then in his turn, if he ends like this, he could then transfer like 10 over to here. The thought being, I'm going to dump as many over here. And, maybe as we go along, there's only 5 total turns of the game. So you don't have too much time to dink around, shuffling too much guys. But one thought might be, get these guys out of here, where these guys are probably going to get killed anyway. Maybe assuming they're going to go up there, they're going to die. And then later you stop putting Trimble and Pettigrew over here. You have them over here to help push these guys up, and you want to bash your way in there. One of the things you can even do is once you've crossed over and captured one of these Union positions, you can use that redeploy battle line to move them still to an adjacent guy. So you could shuffle, so if you get into here and you got another brigade here, you could potentially have your guy here and he could transfer strength out of here to here. Now, you don't want to make this too weak once you've taken it, because there are event cards that allow the Union to counterattack, and they potentially can retake the positions that the Confederates have taken. So that's just an important thing. A couple things to remember. There is that redeploy the battle line rule, which I haven't really seen people use. And it's more flexible than you think, because that includes adjacency, includes diagonal. So this battle line adjacency thing, any adjacency when they're talking about that, includes diagonal. All right. So enough of that. Let's get back here. Let's see. Yeah, we had Trimble there. We did not have Pettigrew there. He was over here. No, he was here. Or was he way over here? I don't remember. Get these back here. Now, I've seen people maneuver these, putting these behind, and then I'm putting them right on these. I mean, why not? They're moving with their strength. I mean, there's plenty of room there. You're not covering up. You can see the name. By the way, these flags in the corner do not have a game effect. They're just the states. So we've got the black flag with the white circle in the middle. That's Virginia. And so all 3 units in Pickett's division, all 3 brigades there, they're from Virginia. And this one here, even though it's Pettigrew's under A.P. Hill, it is a Virginia unit, Mississippi, and 2 North Carolina units. So that's what the flags are. So if you cover that up, it doesn't matter. Now, you can see the name. The names are awful. They don't matter other than the generals, the division things. You got to know which one of these can be in. All right. Now, the rally marker here doesn't want to sit and move with the actual unit, because the rally marker stays behind until you get a chance to regroup and move the rally marker up. There are times, the farther you are away from your rally, that certain kinds of things that hit you, you will take more damage. When heavy fire comes in and a few other things, it's like the farther you are away from your rally point, the more damage you will take. And potentially, right. So you can keep going, keep pushing your luck and getting farther away from your rally point, but at some point you better stop and get your rally moved up, because otherwise you could get hit and get blown away. You know, you take normally from a heavy hit half round up of the distance from your rally point. So if this guy was all the way up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's 6 spaces away. I mean, counting from this way, you could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is normally what you count. And so half that would be 3 damage from one volley. 7, that would be 4, rounding up. You could potentially be all the way up there and almost be, well, you know, halfway. Now, normally you're going to be moving out, you're going to be taking damage, and you're going to be whittled down. It's rarely that you're going to get all the way up there with 10 strength, but it's possible. It is totally possible. But, so the rally point is important to take a breather every so often, stop, and get your rally point caught up with you. In which case, you know, like if say Lane worked his way up to here, and we haven't talked about this yet, he got into the Bliss Farm, which has a defensive value, and then maybe he might do his regroup, and then whoosh, you'd put this here, saying, I'm now rallied here. And so then as he moved forward, he'd potentially have to go back to his rally, or his distance is now counted from here. Now, one of the big advantages of getting your rally here is those heavy hits that I mentioned. Heavy hits, they do half the distance from your rally point, round up, but half of 0 is 0, right? If there's no fraction. So if you are in your rally point, heavy fire won't do anything. Light damage, light fire will do 1 point to you. But heavy fire, it's kind of weird. It sounds funky, right? There's not a great odds of rolling light fire on the combat results table. I'll show you that to you real quick. This funky chart here is 2 dice. You know, it says 1 red die, 1 white die. You can really use any 2 dice because it doesn't actually matter. The way that this is symmetrical, and so you don't add up the 2 dice. But basically, you know, any ones that you roll are going to be heavy fire unless they're both 1s, which is a rout. Okay. A 1 and a 6 will be a result called against the wind, and the other 6 will be come on, boys, unless you roll 2 6s, which is on to Washington. So 1s are bad, heavy fire, or maybe rout. 6s are better for the South, the Confederacy. Come on, boys, which is a good one. It gives them event cards in their favor and lets them cross obstacles. We'll talk about obstacles in a second. And the double 6 is this. A 1 and a 6 is mixed against the wind. You're going to take damage. You're going to do an event card for both sides. But at least in the events when you could cross an obstacle, but you take 2 damage. Ouch. So in the middle, it's all advanced fire unless it's doubles. So double 2, double 3 is light fire. Double 4, double 5 is determined advance, which can get you across an obstacle or move 2 spaces in the clear. So all the doubles are rout, light fire, determined advance, on to Washington. Doubles are always something special. 1s are always bad. 6s are always good. But a 1 and a 6, that's mixed result. So you can basically sort of learn that, and you don't even really care. I could roll 2 of these dice, and it doesn't really matter which one's first, because it's always going to say a 2-3 is the same as a 3-2. 3-2, 3-2, 2-3, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's symmetrical around this doubles axis. So use whatever dice you want. All right, so obstacles. Now, I believe the house is, definitely this house is, this dotted red line here, this is Emmett's Road with this fence along it, which was a fair obstacle for the Confederates to cross. So to enter the hex, the Emmett Road's hex, that's an obstacle. You can't get there with just a simple advance. Anything that allows you to advance 1 space ain't going to cut it. Okay, you need to get either come on, boys, which will allow you to advance 1 space, even if it's an obstacle. determined advance that lets you enter an obstacle or two in the clear. Okay, or on to Washington, which again is two in the clear or one obstacle space. Okay, so that's how you cross obstacles. Okay, you always have to roll a 6 or get double 4s, double 5s. Right. So and against the wind, which allows you to cross the obstacle, however, you have to take 2 hits. You can do it, but it's still on a 6. You can always cross an obstacle. Okay, so there's out of 2 dice, there's 36 separate possibilities. There's 13 things that can let you cross an obstacle, because there's the 6s here and the 6s here. You don't count the double 6 twice. So there's 8 come on boys, 2 against the wind, which lie to cross obstacles, but for double hits. All right. So there's 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, because determined advance. So there's 13 out of 36. It's more than a 1/3 chance. Okay. So you got to remember that when you're sitting there thinking, what are my odds to cross an obstacle? And there's also random events that can put obstacles in front of you. Okay. But anytime you're faced with an obstacle, rolling these dice, you have a slightly better than a 1/3 chance of being able to do it. All right. So if you have your general with you, a general, he hasn't used his ability yet, he could re-roll the movement die. He could re-roll the movement. You failed to get across, you could try, but that second thing, you have to take it. Now, you also get, which we didn't show you here, this represent Longstreet. Getting in there, maybe getting some special commitment of extra resources or something. You have 2 of these that you can use during the game, period. Each general you can use once per turn. These 2, period. Period. That's it. So you got to decide very carefully when you want to use those. So it's possible you might try to move. You really want to get across this obstacle, and you might use your general, and you're rolling, re-rolling, and he fails to get across, and then you could elect to use a Longstreet token and re-roll again. So yeah, be careful, but don't waste these. Don't do it at a time that's not really gaining you that much. All right. So I'm going to put this back here. So that's one thing I'll have to double verify is this guy. I mean, the Kadori farm is definitely an obstacle because it's on Emmett's Road. And its benefit is if you're in here, if your Confederate unit is in here, anything that would cause you to take 1 hit is reduced by 1. That's the same here, but I'm not sure this is an obstacle. These little woods out here, that's not an obstacle. These fences along here, those aren't obstacles. They're not, big enough. I guess the way the road was, and this particular wall here was enough of an impediment that's an obstacle. And then, right in front of all the Union positions, that's considered an obstacle. Okay, so to get in there to fight and do your bayonet combat on the Union, you have to cross an obstacle. And so that means you might be sitting here, you might be trying to roll it, and you're missing it, and you might be rolling heavy fires and damaging you, and you might be getting those darn Union events, the blue card events against you, and you can get chewed up really bad just trying to get in there, get into the bayonet combat. So watch for that. Now, there are right here, not this one, but from here to here is a stone wall. Now, so that's already an obstacle trying to cost. The stone wall gives +1 bayonet effect, I believe, to the Confederates. Not the Confederates, the Union, sorry. Now, I don't know if that was in just the Victory Point games, and that didn't make its way into this or not? No, yes, definitely. +1, defending unit position has a stone wall graphic. All right, so yeah, that's still there. All right, so I'm going to double check on this being an obstacle or not, and then I'm going to set up the random thingies, so we'll call it here for now, and we'll splice these puppies together. All right, so we're back. So I verified that this does not count as obstacle. The 2 farms by themselves aren't obstacles because that's an Emmett road space. It's an obstacle to cross in there, but this is not. All right, now, so I've drawn 10 of these. There are 30 of these guys. You start with 10 of them that you can place on the union positions. Now, when you're pulling these out at random, either you need to keep them, this side up off to the side and you're just slide shuffling them around, or if you put them in a container like this, when you reach in, you got to feel, and this side is more rounded. The other side, you can sort of feel the edge of the counter. So you can do it. Just make sure you don't accidentally reveal them. And so now I'm definitely going to want to, like I said, concentrate. All right. So I want to put at least 1 on each. And then I think what I'll do, I'm going to concentrate on the end point, because like my thought is, if I can get in there and then peel my way in, all right, get the one that doesn't get, at most has 1 supporting bonus. 1 supporting bonus, and if I can peel that in, then the next guy as I fight him would only have 1 supporting bonus, etc. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to say I really, really, really want to try to crack the edges and work my way in. Now, that might sound like a strange, because basically this is going to fail. If I start to crack these and work my way in, but I miss out on one of these here, your bonus victory points are based on the number of contiguous columns. The union positions that you capture, you need contiguous ones. If they're not connected to each other, if they're not consecutive columns, they don't count. So if I got like these 2 and those 2, no bonus. If I got 3 and I'd missed 1 and 2, well, that 3 that's only a 5 point. Actually, it's 10. You get 10 bonus points for getting 3. It's 15 for 4, 20 for 5, and 30 for 6. So that extra 6th one is worth an extra 10 points. So that's basically what I'm trying to do. I want to get these 6 guys, get the 30 bonus victory points, try to maximize what survives in those zones. And that's part of my strategy, to try to suck some off from these guys, get more in there, because the more that you have actually in the union positions, the better. Now, if you get up to next to a union position, you still get 1 victory point per strength point for that. But it's 3 for each strength point that actually gets in and captures a union position. So that's my strategy. That's what I'm going for. All right. So 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, 3. Boom. All right. So we are actually going to start and do 1 turn of this, and that will be our first video for our how to play playthrough of In Magnificent Style. And we're trying to make sure that this gets done. This is on July 3rd. I'm doing this on July 3rd, of course, because this is when it has happened. Gettysburg was the 1st through the 3rd. Pickett's charge here, 3rd day, July 3rd. And so I want to get at least the first video out. And if I have time, I might be able to get a second video out. We'll see how far we can go. Once I get to a certain point, I won't play every single turn out, but maybe I will. We'll see. All right, so we're going to get started here. So it's way up there. You probably can't see it too well. I'm going to zoom up. And actually, I'm going to do this so you can see that. All right, turns 1 through 5. And what it says there is there's a certain number of union activities, how many draws they get of events. So the very first turn, the union doesn't get to draw any bonuses. And then draw 1, 2, 2, and 3 the very last turn. Now, these blue events are things like artillery barrages and Meade does that, or someone, there's reinforcements to the union. There's them open volley firing against the Confederates. I'm going to move this back. All sorts of nasty stuff happens in those blue events. And so it ramps up. It gets worse and worse. And the fifth turn is the last turn. Then there's also, on the results here, there are various ones here that will cause blue cards to be drawn. So rout and heavy fire are the worst. Against the wind, the 1-6 combinations, both sides are going to be drawing a blue and a gray event. The advances and light fire, determined advance in the middle, there are no event cards for those. The rolling of 6s, the Come On Boys, is a gray event card, and so are the On to Washington. Now, one thing to note, the Come On Boys, where that allows you to move one space, and you can draw the gray event card. If you want to move one space and cross an obstacle, then you don't get to draw your event card. So most of the time, the Come On Boys result will result in a gray card. But if you're using it to say, finally getting across, or I'm getting into the Union position, then it won't. All right. So, out. Now, I was originally thinking of maybe using the Victory Point Games version because it's much smaller and the camera could see. These components are so much nicer. This does look so much nicer. I was just thinking of using the other game, but with the newer rules. use these event cards instead of the chits, and use the new bayonet rules. But I decided no, we'll go do this. We're fitting it in. You can see it well enough. I mean, obviously, like you can't see what those strengths are right now, but when we're actually up there, I'll move the camera up, and you can see that in more glorious detail. All right. So, some of you may have watched my Crowbar Rangers of Point du Hoc video. One of the things about that is you did a sector at a time. You said, okay, I'm doing, dog, easy, or fox, and you would do all the activations in that sector, and then you go to the next one. You don't have to do that in this one. You can do your dudes in any order you want. Because, as it is, the generals are split across these two regions here. Now, this is all, Pickett here, but Pettigrew and Trimble are mixed up here, whatnot. It doesn't really matter. That battle line concept. Now, besides that battle line redeploy that I talk about, the leader, when he hasn't done anything and he's at the end of his turn, that he could transfer units. There's also events that come up that affect battle lines, where you could get a bonus movement where you could take a battle line, centered on one unit that's the active guy, and he could potentially bring guys with him for more movement. And again, that's adjacency is horizontally or diagonally next to the dude. So let's do it. So I am going to go ahead and not start here. I'm going to start here with the hope so that my goal is to say maybe get this guy into the Bliss farm and stop. And so this guy I want to have stopping somewhere here. So if he can stop here, then he can stop and he can transfer dudes. Now I really think I should have switched these around, and I'm not going to try to pull from this guy here. He's going to go ahead, and if he can make it, fine. But these guys, I should have had this guy here. But I'm going to stick with what I set up, just because that's what I did. So we're going to roll here, and we're going to dice. I'm not going to show you the dice unless it's a really critical time where I'm trying to get into the bayonet stuff. So I'll just tell you what I rolled: a 2 and a 3. So that's a normal advance. So he moves one space. And of course, remember, this stays here. And when you're finished with the guy, you flip it to the done side. And that's how you know that unit's finished activating. All right. So we're just going to keep going. And our goal is to get about here. If we get heavy fire on us, see, now we can take damage. We're now 1 away from our rally. Heavy fire would actually do 1. Here, it would do 1, because that's 2 away halved. 3, 3, 4, 4, etc. All right. You also get shaken when you're under heavy fire. And there's certain, like if you go into bayonet combat when you're shaking, get them on your strength, one less die roll. But if you have heavy fire and then you get heavy fire again, that's when your activation terminates. You do not have a choice. You go back to your rally point, your thing stops, and there'll be a blue event. So oftentimes people will keep pushing until they get that first shaken on them from heavy fire. And heavy fire happens 8 out of 16 chances. If you roll a 1 on either die, double ones is a route, but 1 on either die other than 1 and a 6 is a heavy fire. All right? So let's just roll it and do it. 6 and a 4, so that's a good old come on, boys. So now we're not at an obstacle, so we can move our 1 and get our card. So it's a gray card. Confederate Reserves. Like, say, can you... Yeah, I'm going to zoom in a little. There we go, so you can read that better. Increase 1 Confederate unit by +2 strength points, +3, if stacked with the rally marker. All right? An additional 1 with an attached general is used. So this here, you have to elect to use the general. You may not want to do that, or you may. So the fact that right now we only have 1 guy stepped off, we definitely want to do someone who's currently with the rally marker. There we go. And to get 3 bonus points, all right? So I am going to, again, we are wanting to make sure we can punch in there. I'm gonna beef up Kemper, okay? So he is going to get 3 bonus instead of the 2. 3. And I will put that on him over here. So there he is. We now have 13 total strength points. All right. And so that's something you got to remember. Now, I didn't do this. Oh, you can't see that. This shows you your currently active unit, the one you're trying to advance, okay? It says to put it behind the unit. I've seen some people put it in front, like, well, this is the one who advanced too. Well, it's just, you're showing the column, the unit. You could put it on it if you want to. This is the guy that's trying to advance. You know, once you... There's only one of these shaken markers. If you're the guy that's trying to advance, if you get heavy fire, you're going to become shaken. All right? And if you get hit again, you're going to shaken twice. You go all the way back to your rally point, and you're going to take this off because this is going to go to the next unit then for advancing. So there's only one of these. All right? So I think we're just going to just put it on here. Show the guy that's advancing right there. Have it move along with us. All right? So we got freebie points over here from our event, and now we're back to rolling the dice. There's no reason to stop here. There's no reason. We could keep going all the way. We could get lucky, but I'm going to stop here. My goal is, even if I'm untouched, I'm going to stop here because I want this guy to get here and potentially move stuff out. Now, one thing to notice is that you must, in your turn, you must roll the movement dice at least once. If you have a unit that's weak and wimpy, you might not want to advance them too far. The more you keep advancing, guys, you roll bad results over on this chart, you can get those dang blue events that are going to chew your dudes up. So you might say, I don't want to move them at all. Well, you always have to roll at least once. All right? Now, one of the things that it says, you do not have to advance. If you get an advanced result, you do not actually have to advance. You must roll. But you could get up to the Bliss Farm, for example, and sit there. Let's say I've, taken out, 8 or 20. No, I can't. You gotta leave one behind. You could take most. You could stay here. You could sit here and say, I have to roll, but I'm not leaving. You could elect to do that. Okay. Rolling. This guy. Oh, bad. 1-1 route. All right. So, bingo. Now, fortunately, we're not way up there. Route is like a heavy fire in that you take half the distance to the rally. So it's 2 away, half is 1. You You're taking one hit. So we're going to go down to a 9. And then you not only do you go back, you have to go back to the beginning. So if you had, say, been here and you'd consolidated at one point, you did your regroup, you had your rally point here. If you get routed here, that's it. There's no overcoming it. You always go all the way back. Now, I could use this. I'm not going to. Again, this is an early route. I wasn't that far up there. I'm only taking 1 damage. I'm not going to do it. I'm fine. I'm good. I'm fine. Right? So we're back here. He's done because you stop your activation. You stop. That's it. You cannot do any more. And you draw a card. Now we're drawing a blue card, a bad card. All right, the Union. Volley fire versus the left flank. So this is the left. They are shooting here. Now, he's not in the left flank, but they are shooting here. Now, we're good in that back here, you're not affected by well, let's see. Nope. Yeah. You're not in the green zone. So the way volley fire works is you look at each column, you look at the unit's strength. So way up there, they're 5s. You're having that rounding up. So those would be 3s. Full effect here. Well, +1 into this. 3 in the red, -1. It would be 2 here. It'd be 1 here. Well, it's nothing here. You're not affected back here in the start area. You're like over a berm or something, you're far enough back. So this could have been painful, but it's not right now. So that's always nice. If something like, no effect, don't have to worry about it right now. Okay, so, but he's done. So, next choice of movement. Well. That best laid plans of mice and men and such. Well, let's go ahead and try to maneuver him up. Well, so our plan could be to step up 1 and then transfer to this guy here. Because our plan is to get guys out of here. So, well, we have to roll. We must roll. Snake eyes. Twice in a row, folks. That's really, but it's like totally moot. It doesn't affect me at all here because he's at the rally. He's back in the start area. No damage. However, there is a blue card. Now, this again might be no effect. Artillery barrage versus Area 5. Well, there's no one in Area 5. So far, all right. So, yeah, that's going to, until people get them out there and they're also, sometimes some of these things are just not going to have any effect. Cursed dice. Take a lot better. All right, so, but that didn't mean that turn was done, over. Well, all right, I'm just going to move these guys real quick over here. 3 and 6. So that's a come on, boys. So he gets to move 1, and we get a gray card. God is a Yankee. All right. Draw 1 blue card instead. So in other words, the fates of war, we thought we were getting something good, but no, God's on their side. So we draw a new card. You always draw a new card, right? You never look at both for the same card at the same time. So they get a blue. Stragglers. So all it's hard for me to read it through the thing here. I'm going to zoom in more. All Confederate units in a division whose general marker is either killed or wounded loses 1 strength value. So we don't have any killed or wounded generals. So this is a no effect. It's like, if things are bad, we're going to make it even worse for you, right? So what started was supposed to be a good event for us, but we're going to keep going here. 6-6. All right, on to Washington. So this allows us to move 2 in the clear. And we automatically move the rally point up. All right, a free up the rally point. Doesn't matter. You're all snake eyes for a route. I automatically go back here, but that's for free. So it's right here, right now. So if we, in our next move, if we roll that heavy fire, we're not going to take any damage because we're at our rally point. All right, so we're going to keep going. We might as well go with this guy to see how far he goes. I mean, there's, I got some strategy for how far I want to go and trying to coordinate these guys for shifting stuff around potentially, but this here didn't work out well. But best laid plans of my men. So 3 and a 4, so that's just advance. All right. Gonna keep going. Oh, 1 and a 5. So that is heavy fire. So we are 1 away. Halved. 1/2 rounds up to 1. All right. We are shaken. No, not that one. So I keep forgetting this. I should be using this one. We are now shaken. All right. We can keep moving, or we can elect to. I don't want to get too far ahead. I don't want to get too far ahead. Yep. So we will go ahead. Oh no, we still have to do our draw the blue card. Let's remember to draw the blue card. So it is a volley fire left flank. So now we actually have volley fire here. Okay. And so each unit, there's only one. They're back here. So it's halved, 3 minus 1, because it's in the yellow. So he takes 2 damage. He goes down to a 7. Oops, I grabbed the wrong thingy that's on the back of this. So from 9 to 7, right? Yep. All right. So now we could elect to keep going. Or no, we'll go ahead and we'll stop here. So we're regrouping. We take this off. We move this up. And it's done. All right. You can see that as well. Let's go back here. All right. So this guy here, 6 and a 1. So this is that against the wind, the mixed thing. So you can move 1 and take 1 hit, or cross an obstacle and take 2. Obviously, don't have an obstacle, so we're not gonna take 2 hits, but we take a hit. Now, so even though, so we're moving into the space and we take a hit. So we go down to 9. All right, we need this advancing marker here. Now, what we do is we do 1 blue and then 1 gray. So, 8th Ohio flank attack. Now, can I read? Yeah, okay, if I get that really close, it's a little easier to read, actually. Distribute a total of 2 hits among any Confederate unit in the left flank. Ouch. All right. Then for each unit in the left flank, compare its strength value to the area number in which it is located. If the area number is greater than the strength value, the unit must retreat 2 spaces. So notice this is a 1, a 4, a 7. So this always is in the left flank, right? Left flank. And so this number here gets bigger and bigger. And if that number is greater than their strength points, so these guys will never happen here. Here, they'd have to have a 1, 2, or 3 strength to retreat. Here, if they were 6 or less, and way up here in the 10, if they were 9 or less, right? So they don't have to retreat, but I got to lose 2 points from them. I'm going to take this far guy because let's see, yeah. So I may switch how I do this. Try have this guy try to combine it here. Then I'm going to do yes. I still have visions of trying to do my silly thing, which may not work at all. Because that could be split up amongst any of them there. So it wasn't based on his activation. So that was that. And now we have our gray. This is our gray result. Mars Robert, immediately draw 2 more gray event cards. Resolve them one at a time. I do not know who Mars Robert was. If you know, was he a special, was he like that scout guy that maybe the information is helpful, or was he, I don't know. Anyway. Open fire. Yeah, 1 Confederate unit, 1, with a strength value of 7 or more, can place a fire marker on the zone it is in. So this is anywhere. This does not have to be... Now this is one that I can use a general if he hasn't been used. Now, I didn't use Trimble, and he got back to... One of the things that if you don't use a general... and you get to the whole end of your turn, each general that hasn't done anything can draw a gray event card. Or I could elect this guy to open fire, and I could use him to add +1. The thing is, I'm wanting to spank from here to here. So maybe I should open fire. Well, I'll see. Well, yeah, at some point I would want to get the guys in my endpoints to soften them up better, but is it better to just get that 1 or get a whole extra card? Eeny, meeny, miny, moony, chili. Well, he'll know it. So, see, this is just one, no matter 7 or greater, except for him. He couldn't do it, right? I am going to go ahead and put 1 up here, because I've weakened this. I started with 3, I only have 1 here. I'm gonna add it here. All right. I think eventually if I can punch there, I'm gonna do that. I'm still trying to imagine my plan working. All right. So now we got 1 more because that Mars Robert card. Oh, open fire. Well, this is 1 if you have a strength of 6 or more. So there's different ones for how strong of a unit you have to be able to do this. All right. 1 Confederate unit with a strength of 6 or more places. Wait, based on the zone it is in. Stop. Did I not read that? I did not read that. All right. So, back from the green zone. So, back here doesn't help at all. In the green zone, if you use the general, you could add 1. So, you got to be close enough. Green's not close enough unless you have the general with you. None of these guys are in the green zone. So, undo that, roll back, pay a little better attention. All right, so that's not there. All right, so you got to get up there. Got to get at least into the yellow or using your general, dude. So this guy coulda, woulda, shoulda if his strengths were higher, but they're not. He was only a 5. Well, this guy here though, no, he can do it. Yeah, we're gonna have to use him. This is this guy here that we are currently activating. It doesn't matter. But these were events that we got from when we got in here with a against the wind, where we had a a blue and a gray. So he is the only guy that could do it because he is in the green. No. He's in the green zone, which is 0. If he had a leader with him, he could get the +1. So no effect. Zip. No. Okay, now it's back to his activation. 6 and a 3. So come on, boys. Moving 1 space again and a gray card. Drifting Smoke Concealment. Any Confederate unit, reduce the number of hits scored against them by 1 by either volley fire or artillery fire. All other types of hits are applied normally. Remove the marker when he leaves the space. So this, like, we plan on keeping advancing with him. Now, if we put him on him and he rolls a light, it's not going to help us because it's only for volley fire and artillery fire. So heavy or light fire from the movement table, this kind of cover concealment does not help. So we're going to put it on this guy over here. All right, so there's a smoke marker here. Let's see, smoke cover. All right, so we're going to put that there on him. All right, so we're here and we're still advancing. We might as well keep going. 6 and a 2. It's more. Come on, boys. See, these are nice. You can keep one of those 6s and keep getting these potentially good guys. The Fife and Drums. You may immediately form a battle line. All right. With any units at with any unit at the center and move the entire battle line 1 space forward, but no obstacle spaces may be entered. All right. So that means I can pick a dude and any 2 and then the adjacent dudes. Now, that should include the guys in the start. So even though he was the active guy in this Fife and Drum, somewhere someone's getting a little... So I'm going to actually use this guy here. So that these guys all move up with Fife and Drum. So he hasn't gone yet, but these guys that have already gone get to move up, and he gets to move up. All right. So he's going to roll again. 6 and 3. 6 and 3. I like keep rolling those 6s. Open fire, 9 strength or more. Okay, see now we're actually getting somewhere. Here's a 9 strength guy. He's our only 9 strength, 9 plus. He is 9. And he can now put a fire marker in his zone. So without the thing, but he's yellow. So he can now do 1. So we actually get to, again, we're going to take everything we can get because you never know. We might actually, punch in there and win and stuff. But my plan is like not emphasizing this, but you never know what happens, right? So you got to do that. I'm going to push the luck again. And I probably, yep. Oh, 4 heavy fire. Or 4, 1 and a 3. Not a 4, a 1 and a 3. Because 4 rolling a 2 and a 2 is light fire. Heavy fire. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to do 2 damage. Ouch. We are shaken. Not stirred. James Bond joke. All right. Didn't get to advance. We have to do a blue event card. Union reinforcements sent to the left flank. Wow. This left flank's going to remove 1 fire marker from each of the 3 Union positions in the left flank. There are none. Add +1. So, wow. Yeah. So that means we add one there, and take that guy off. So those other two, oh, you can't see that because So we took the one off of here. We added a strength there and a strength there because we took that fire -1 SCV off there. Alrighty. So now this guy here is going to stop. He's going to consolidate. It's not actually what you call it in this regroup. My crowbar rangers that point to hawk. All right, and so this is flipped to done. Got to remember to do that. All right, so they're getting chewed up on that flank so far. Ouch, ouch. So there might not be much left to push over in the center. All right, I'm going to switch over here now to this guy here that's got extra bonus strength. 1 and a 2, heavy fire, no damage because we are, but we still are gonna get shaken, right? Shaken and bacon, because that's what heavy fire does. And I should put my advancing marker here. Now on shaken, we draw a thing. Artillery barrage versus area 1. Boom, 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 boom. Ah, he's getting hit. Oh, no. Each Confederate unit in the designated area suffers a number of hits equal to the total number of Confederate units. Wow. So the more you have in the area, if you had all 3 of your guys in there, each would take 3 damage. Wow. Ooh. Ouch. 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 Oh. Nuggins. All right. Dang. All righty. So back over here, I'm gonna roll. I might want to try to get up a little bit and then try to do it. If we get shaken again, we have nowhere to go back, right? We're not gonna lose anything, so it doesn't make sense to not go ahead and push here. Other than they keep drawing blue cards, but 1 and a 6 against the wind. So he moves up 1, he takes a hit, so that goes down to a 2 because he's got just 12 left instead of his 10. All right, and then we do a blue and a gray, blue and a gray. All right. Vermont Brigade. Oh, no, this is the equivalent on the right flank of that other one. All right. For each unit in the right flank wing column, compare its strength to the area number. So 3. You'd have to have 1 strength point where this one to be effective. He's got 12. So no effect. Okay, so is there something other than... Oh, apply 1 hit. You got to apply a hit, though. You still get a hit. Hit. All right. But no retreaty. All right, and then we draw the gray, because this was against the wind, both sides. Pickett's fresh division. You remove all units in the right flank wing column 1 space forward, but not to an obstacle. Well, let's do it. Go, Pickett's boys, go. All right. All right. So, yeah, he's still shaken. I don't want them all to be in this. Like, if we get the same equivalent, everyone in area 3, and they'd all take 3 damage. I'm going to go again. I'm in. 6-2. All right. Come on, boys. Who gets to move 1? And we get the blue. Not the blue, so the gray. The gray. Open fire, 8+. So we're back in the green, so it doesn't help us. Gotta get out of the green. All right, we're gonna go one more. I'm trying to get in the yellow. Gonna do it once more. 6-5. All right, we go up. We've drawing a gray, and then I think we're gonna go ahead and stop there because we are shaken. Come on, there. Lee's veterans. If the current active unit is shaken, flip it back to the advancing. So he got rid of the shaken for free. Oh, all righty. Look at that. If it wasn't shaken, you get to add a free point. But there we go. That we benefited from that. All right, so let's keep going. We got 11 strength points for this guy. All right, 2 and a 2. Light fire. So that takes one hit. And that's it. It's one hit. No events, no nothing. So let's roll again. 2 and a 5. So that's advance. All right. We have nothing against us right now. We might as well try to see if we can get across the obstacle. Now, again, to get across an obstacle, you got to roll a 6 or double 4, double 5. Double 4, double 5 is determined advance, or a 6. 6 on either die. 5 and a 2. No, it's just an advance. Nothing happens. All right, we'll get them. Remember, there's 6, 11, 12, 13 chances out of 36. So just a little more than 1/3. 6 and a 1. Well, we rolled a 6, was also 1 against the wind. So we would have to take 2 hits. Or we can sit here and take 1 hit and have nothing happen. I'm going to take the 2 hits. I'm going to pay the price. I'm going to do it. Because at least we're at full strength. I'm going to advance. And then we draw a blue card and a gray card. All right. So the blue card. Fallen officer obstacle. Place a fallen officer obstacle marker in the space immediately in front of any Confederate unit. The marker space cannot already be an obstacle, contain another obstacle marker, nor be a Union position. This space is now an obstacle for all purposes and removed once moved on to. Okay, so fallen officer obstacle. So it's not even important. I'm going to put it in front of this guy because this guy has this smoke cover that stays on him until he moves. Once he moves out of there, it's gone. And so if he's impeded by this, this obviously this is a morale thing. It's like, oh my God, an officer, like, no, we don't want to advance. Look, no, our officer was fallen, right? That's what that represents. A low-ranking officer here was beheaded by a mini ball or something, who knows what. But the fact that we've got some cover help, again, if it's against volley or artillery, these guys would take less damage, and so they might be here a while. So that's my strategy there. All right, so remember, this is the against the wind that we had here, where we paid the price, taking 2 to cross the obstacle. Now we get our gray card. Confederate reserves. Increase 1 Confederate unit by 2 points, 3 at the rally marker. So it's like you might want to I want the stuff here now. You might want 2, or you can get 3 somewhere else. I am going to, see, so now, if I were doing this for a real life thing, I would say, oh, reinforce this guy, he's hurt, he's almost, half dead here, help this dude out, put 2 points there. That's the problem. These guys all advanced off their rally marker from that event, the battle line advance. So he's the only one, Fry, who can actually, who's at his rally marker. Well, that's what I want to do with these guys. Oh, am I really writing that guy off? Or am I planning to do this? If I put pedigree there, and then yeah, we're trying to. I'm still got these visions of doing things in this weird way, so I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna put 2 on. It'd be 3. It'd be 3. Yeah, because he was a 7, and he's got his rally marker. It's on the done side, but it's still the rally marker. All right. So that was this guy here. Now we're not. God, we're past the thing. Do I want to push my luck? God, if I get. Well, if I get a route, I'd end up going all the way back anyway. All right. I'm gonna push my luck again. This is the nature of this game. It's like just throw old snake eyes, man. 2 and a 6. All right, another come on, boys. He got to move forward. 1 more. We get to roll a gray card. We're in the red zones, which means if we can start getting those events that let us put the fire suppression stuff on there, it'll be worth 2 of those. So heroic action. All right. Attach a heroic action marker to any Confederate unit. Can only be used to re-roll a result or add 2 to bandit combat. Well, so heroic combat, this guy is actually up there close. He's going to potentially be the first guy in. I'm going to put it on him. I mean, I can put it on any of these dudes, right? Or you can re-roll the route result. Just a route result. It presents route. Or get an extra 2 dice in bayonet combat. We're in the red zone. I am going to do this. I am going to go ahead. I don't want to push my luck too far. Now, there's reasons why I want to do this. Okay. One is to illustrate the rule on the sighting step. Okay. When unit's active step is done, he reveals fire markers in the position at the end of his brigade column. If it's in the red, he reveals them all. If it's in the yellow, he reveals just 1. So by getting up there, we're going to see the extent that we're close enough to see how much that bombardment did, or whatever volley fire, things that we had that could add, or the initial number of those. You can see the effects, and that can help you decide, what you're going to do going forward or not. Maybe they're all misses, and he's still at full strength, or maybe he's like, he could be dead. He could literally be dead, which means you can walk in there automatically. Now, let's reveal. Miss. 1 hit, miss. So it's at a 4. So, it's not. Let's see. There's 30 total of those, and I think 11 of them are misses. 15 are damaged from 1 to 3, and most of them are 1s. 1s, a couple of 2s, and only 1 3-hit thing. Then you just put these back in whenever you reveal them, because they can be redrawn at any time. All right. And then there's the 2 that are the unsteady, having the bayonet, and 2 that are the suppressed that have their volley fire, but those only last to the end of that turn. So like if we had drawn that unsteady, that wouldn't have been any good, because that wouldn't be in effect this turn. It's going to end at the end of this turn. So he's done. He's done. And he's weakened. We got 8. We got a heroic action. We're getting close. We can try to punch our way forward. Let's hurry up and finish up here. We got 4 more dudes. All right, let's try to get this done here. This thing is getting to be longer. As you normally know, Meandering Mike, we like to have our meandering style. So this game is in magnificent style. We do in meandering style. Let's do Garnet. Boom! On to Washington. 12 boxcars. So we're going to 2 in the clear. Get a gray card. Open fire. A 5+. Any one unit Well, we might as well use this guy here, right? Because he is the closest to getting in there and doing stuff. And he could either get in next turn or get a little closer. And again, you'd reveal those. But yeah, we're gonna try to, you know, focus on what we got here. Let's zoom out. So we got 2 guys because, yep, he doesn't have a leader that we're using or anything, but he's in the red. So we can put 2 on that 4 strength dude. All right. So this was, oh yeah, we got to remember, see, this is here. We're advancing here. Got to remember to do that. Got to remember to do that. All right. All right, Garnet. What's next? Oh, a 1 and a 2. Well, almost a rout after the, like we were the other, but it's just heavy fire. So he's 1, 2, 3 away though. It's 3. So he is taking 2 damage. So he goes all the way down to an 8. 8. Ain't it great? And he is shaken. Oh boy. Yeah. So if he got shaken again, he did another heavy fire, he would go all the way back to here. So I am going to go ahead and we're going to, oh, well, before we do that, we need to do the blue event. Right? Heavy fire, got the blue event. Volley fire versus center. All right. Each in the center wing inflicts hits on the Confederate. Okay, this is volley fire. So it's based on their strength. So we gotta look at their. Okay, can you see that up there? So this guy has -3. He has a 1 and a 1. So you take the 3 off their strength. You know, these are off the adjusted strength. So 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 halved is 1. 1 shooting in the green zone is -2. That's no hits. Now a 5 with 1 down goes to 4. 4 halved is 2. So the advantage being at 5 halving, you round up to 3, but with 1 suppression on it, he's at a 4 halving, it's only 2, and in the green, it's no damage. So no damage, no damage. So the fact that we had suppressed this, whereas those guys over there would have been doing more damage, these guys don't take anything. Yay. All right, so now this guy is we're gonna do the regroup and say, okay, we're gonna bank that there. All right. And so we got 2 dudes left to do. We'll go ahead and do Fry. Fry's this guy here. So Fry is ready to step up. 2 and a 4 is advance. He gets to move 1. So everyone has stepped off there. He hasn't gone yet. Oh yeah, because he moved. He was part of this advance here. All right. So Armistad hasn't gone yet. All right. So, oh, 1 more. It's heavy fire. So we are 1 away. We do indeed take a hit. We got Pettigrew on there. I'm not going to re-roll it at this point for just 1 hit. And we're only 1 away. We're going to keep going. We're going to risk it. Oh, we got to draw the dang blue event. Union reinforcements sent to center. Remove 1. Oh, no. That's the problem. Sometimes pushing your luck. Keep going and going, and you're like, you get these dang blue cards. Remove 1 fire marker from each of the 3 Union positions in the center wing. Oh, our work being undone. So these 2 come off, and 1 of those. So all that nice suppression fire in the center is gone. Oh, can't bank just one up. I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm rolling. 5 and a 2. Advance. Go one more. We're still in the place where we only take 1 damage. Well, if we, yep, I'm gonna push. 2 and a 6. Come on, boys. So he moves up. We get to draw a gray card, and then I'll probably chicken out. All right, open fire. There we go. So 5 plus 1 Confederate. All right. Now, again, shaken doesn't matter here for this kind of open fire. Got to remember that if you're in bayonet combat, shaken weakens you, but at this distance, it doesn't matter. All right, so I can add one of these. So any guy with a 5, I can shoot up there. So I could elect to, pile more on there, or I could elect to do damage here. The thing is, we could elect to add one. We can elect to add one. And I'm going to do that. I think we're going to do that. We're going to use that because those darn reinforcements that take off the suppression is, if you don't have one, you actually increase the strength. So by having at least 2, they're going to have to do that twice. So we're getting 2 on here for this. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and chicken out and bring this up here. And we did use Pettigrew. All right. Now, I would like that to be a little more obvious. I mean, it says used instead of his name, but I think there should be like red on there, a line through him, either like a white line through it or red on the name saying used. Yeah, that's just a minor little thing there. But yeah, I would like that to be a little more obvious that he's been used. I can remember, did we actually use this guy here? I don't think so. Alrighty. Let's go ahead. We'll save Pickett himself for last. So you can't quite see that. I should go this way. So here we are. We're going to move Lawrence. Not Lawrence. 2-4. That's an advance. Put the arrow in the right direction at least, man. All right. Keep going. 3-6. Come on, boys. We get one, and we get a gray card. Confederate reserves. Come on, focus. There we go. +1, +2, if in Pickett's division. And +1 with the general used. So this could be the case of... So obviously we want the extra, right? So we could go for 3 here using the guy, or we could say, nah, I'm going to use him to get an extra card because I could get like another one of those. It could be the same thing, which is an extra 1 anyway, but that gives me a potential chance to use it somewhere, get 2 out of it. This guy, who again is close, he's in there. We're wanting to punch this dude through. We want to, before they can get more reserves and stuff, let's see if we can get in there. All right, so that was that nice card. All right, oops. Right? Yes, that was Lawrence. All right, let's keep going with Lawrence. Let's try to get out of here. We don't want zone 2 to get artillery bombard. 6 and a 4. Another come on, boys. All right. So we're drawing another card. Oh, it's a shuffle. Draw the next card, and then you get to shuffle. All right. All right. So the next card is weak rebel artillery support. Choose one Union position and place an unrevealed fire marker on that position. Well, it's one of those things. It's a fire marker. But anyone of our choice, anywhere there. Some long-range, weak artillery support. All right. So I am gonna do this again, like that idea of keeping them all suppressed, not wanting them to potentially grow. Okay, so now we got to shuffle these all together, including shuffling in the shuffle card. Now, there's options on how to play with the shuffle card. You can, one option was not to use the shuffle card at all for minimal variability. The maximum variability, I think, is to just shuffle it in from the very beginning. It could be anywhere in that deck. And then there's two others where you could, like, you shuffle the deck, you cut it in half, and then you shuffle the shuffle card either into the first half or the last half. And they recommend, if you're not sure which one you want to play with that last thing where you have the shuffle card in the last half of the deck at random. So your odds are that you'll go through at least half the deck without shuffling, and then the shuffle card can show up. It could be the very last card in the deck. It could be, the half plus one. But now we're in full shuffle mode. So I think I'm good there. I'll cut that puppy. All right. All right. So we're going to keep going with Lawrence. 5 and a 4. That's a normal advance. We're almost up to Emmetsburg Road. 4 and a 4. Oh, that's a double. That's determined advance. All right, which allows us to, yes. We can either move 2 spaces in the clear or 1 space, or there's a battle line option. Now, you got to remember, there's a couple of these things that have battle line options. I forgot, like On to Washington has one, which I didn't look at. I should have looked on some of these cases when I rolled the boxcars onto Washington, where you can either move 2 spaces or you could form a battle line and move. The advantage, okay, onto Washington, that's what I forgot, I think. When you have onto Washington, I think we did that with one guy here, that you move the 2 spaces and you can move your rally marker up automatically. If you do the battle line option with onto Washington, you move up to 3 guys up, but you're not advancing any of their rally markers. Now, so determined advance, this has the same option. He got a determined advance. He has no one next to him, right? If he had been here, he could have brought this guy with him, right? Or if he'd been here, he could have brought both those guys with him. So determined advance, I'm not using the battle line option because I can't, so I can move 2 spaces or 1 over an obstacle. Now, so I cannot go 2 because that's an obstacle, so I can only go there. If I'd started here, I could have crossed it. But there we are. I'm going to try to keep going with this dude. I'm going to try to keep going with this dude, I think. He's at full strength. Now, again, this is the case where you need to roll a 6 or double 4, double 5. This is the just over 1/3 chance to cross an obstacle. 6-4. We did it. Come on, boys. He can cross. We get our first card of the fresh shuffled deck, a heroic action. Now, there's only 2 of these in the counter mix. So I don't know. I would have to check a little more carefully if you can have more and you just, use whatever marker, or if that's the hard limit. But that's what we got. So the fact is that we got the two guys that are closest actually punching their way in. This is kind of cool. And I'm ready to go for it, right? Let's get some action here. You guys might appreciate that here in this first extra long video. Might as well get some action. Those of you that have watched this far, didn't give up. You've made your way through the meandering stuff. You get to see the exciting action, and watch, we'll roll like a route. At least the heroic action would allow him to re-roll that. 6 and a 3. Another come on, boys. So he's still going, and we get another in our favor event. Rebel Yell too. Holy moly! Attach a Rebel Yell marker. You can re-roll any one of its movement dice, or man, he could get 3 dice. He could go in there. Where's Rebel Yell? Rebel Yell. Wow, this is exactly. These guys are hot to trot. Lawrence. Okay, so yeah, let's do it. Let's see how far we can go, man. Right. Dicing them up. Boosh. 4 and a 2. That's just a normal in advance. We are there. We are up next to it now. Again, this is an obstacle. You need to get an obstacle crossing result to get across. Now, if he had ended his activation in the red, we'd get to see that SV result. If you cross in, so you're getting in the bayonet. If you cross in, so you're going to have bayonet coming, you immediately see those anyway. All right? We're doing it. We're pushing it. We're trying for it. Come on, baby. This is the chance. Ooh. 5 and a 2. That's a normal advance. All right, no effect, but normal advance. 3 and a 5. Normal advance. No effect. We're going to keep doing this until something happens. 1 and a 5. All right, so that's heavy fire. I am going to elect to use Longstreet right now. We're going to use one of our one-time things. I'm trying not to use that Rebel Yell yet to reroll movement dice, because it could get me the +1 bayonet combat. I want to get in there and win this thing for sure. Get into the line there. Because if I can get into there, that means then this guy would have no support when he eventually gets up there. So we're re-rolling that dice. 5 and a 4. No, just a regular advance. 5, 5. It is the double. It is determined advance. All right. So we do get to go in one space, entering an obstacle. He is in. We get to see what this is. Miss. Miss. All right. So now I don't think I showed you these. There are these little cards here, which they had certain stuff, that they could fit on the map over here, which you'd think they would have put like the bayonet results or something on there. They just didn't fit that in there, and I think they could have if they'd rearranged or resized some things. But let's zoom in up there and see how come let's move forward. Let's look at this. Yeah, there we are. All right, so Confederate. Is that too, let me zoom out 1, and then we'll, all right. We're never going to use the heroic. Well, you might as well use everything. We're going in. We're going to use all 3 dice. No commander. There's no capture. They're going to get 2 adjacent things. So I believe it. So that's, no, this is what's, okay, no, okay, it does say it there. Half. Initial bayonet dice is 1/2 the strength value. All right. So they have 3. We have 5. All right. So there's 5. You can never roll more than 6. Wait, that's right. Shoot. You can never roll more than 6 dice at a time. Wait. I don't have the combat dice with me. Be back. All right, so the game comes with these blue and, of course, gray dice. So, again, he's 5, halved is 3, because he rounds up, and he's getting +1 from each side. So he's getting 5 dice. It's too bad we can't use, like, the Rebel Yell to, like, make them lose dice, right? Yeah, that's too bad. So we've got 6, he got 5. He's only got 5 hits, but you need a 6 to hit. You see that bottom part there? 6 is a hit, a 5 is a partial hit, every 2 full hit. Now this is one case where halvesies don't round up. You know, a partial hit means you need 2 of them, but a single one is not a halve, it doesn't round up. And then morale loss, you see who generates the more morale loss against the enemy, and the one guy has to retreat who has more morale loss. If it's a tie, the attacker has to retreat. So we'd still have, so we're just gonna use the lesser effect, the Rebel Yell. That was the advantage of I used Longstreet. I didn't use up my Rebel Yell. I still have it we don't necessarily, we're using it now. We are. We're going to add the one. We're using the Rebel Yell. All right. So I'm rolling all the dice all at once. Woo. All right. So no 6s on either side. So they got 2 partials. They got 2 partials. So each side loses 1 strength point. So which in the net, he's not weakened. All right. Because he's still at 9, halved will be 5, but he's down from 4, would be 2 dice. On foot, well, no, wait. 2 versus only 1. So they have to retreat. They have to retreat. They actually capture the position. Now, these are not gone. There's a vent that allows these to counterattack. So here we sit. We are done. We have a heroic action, which actually, you know, is kind of wasted right now unless they counterattack. We have to retake it. This unit's done. You actually put it here. You put it back 1 space. Now, being in the Union position, you're not in the red zone. You're not subject to artillery fire. You're not subject to volley fire. You're safe there unless they have the event that allows them to counterattack. All right, and you're sitting there potentially with the other guys coming that you can now support. You can now support either guy. It'll be able to try to get into those there. And if there's something that causes them retreat, it could potentially be an event or this counterattack. He would go back to here. All right. I don't think there's anything that could cause him to rout from here and have to go all the way back. But if he got to here and then got a rout, that's a heroic action that allows you to re-roll a rout. You know, so that's potentially nice. So there he sits. All right. So we only have 1 more unit to do. We have, so let me pull this back. Sorry for the movement. Sorry there, I accidentally stopped the camera, hit the wrong thing. So we've got our advance marker. Here we are. Armistead, he's gonna start to advance, and we've got Pickett with us. Now, he's like inspired, boys. Ooh. So let me get these blue and gray dice out of the way. So let's see what there's the dice. I like these black and red dice. They're kind of some of my favorites, and they seem to roll pretty fairly to me. So that's why I'll use them. And normally it says, hey, use the 2 different colors, but the fact that it's symmetrical, it doesn't really matter. So anyway, he's going to advance. 2 and a 5, a simple advance. 4 and a 4, a determined advance. 2 spaces. If we get up to the Kodori farm, I will stop early. Yeah. Rolling again. Oh, 1 and a 2. So heavy fire. Pew, 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 pew. 1, 2, 3, 4. He takes 2 damage. Oh. Well, let's see. He could re-roll. He could re-roll as his commander thingy. We're going to do that. We're going to re-roll. No, I'm not. If we get it again, we're going to push our luck. And if we get it again, I'll re-roll. I'm going to try to get to the farm. Oh, now because we did this. So I rolled a 1 and a 2 twice in a row. So now I'm using him, re-rolling a 2 and a 2, which is light fire. Pew, pew, pew. He takes more stuff. I think we're going to stop here. And yeah, we're gonna stop. So that is everybody. Everybody has moved. Let's be on the done side. So in 1 turn, we managed to take a position in the very center. I think that's these woods here in the middle. That was like the target point that they were all like, it was that movement of some of the units that were drifting in. That was, I think, the center target point. They actually made it there in 1 turn. That's pushing your luck. But we got beat up kind of bad here. A little bit of damage here and there. It's kind of interesting. So we have not used Trimble. So I could have him. Well, no, it's during his activation. The Rita played. He has to die. So I didn't do that given the situation. So he's going to do the card thing. It's called coordinate the attack at the start of the housekeeping phase before doing anything else. So we finished all activations. We're in the housekeeping phase. He can draw a card. So that's his ability. The leftover commanders can get a free gray event card. The fife and drums. You may, this is this thing again, move a battle line with any unit at the center. Move the entire battle line 1 space forward, but no obstacles, baby unit. So we have these are 3. These 2 guys could go, these 2 guys could go, or these 3 could go. That could be a battle line. We're going to do that. We're going to form this battle line. Now do notice, though, this does move them off of their rally points. So if we roll for them heavy fire, they will take a point. But that's some good advancement there. Alrighty. So that's going to be it, folks. This was long ass video. You need to get this to, excuse my French, get this edited up and posted so you'll have it before the end of the day, so you can actually see it sometime during July 3rd. I'm actually going to go to bed now. I've been up all night. And so we'll see when we can get it to you. Got at least 3 or 4 hours, or I'm really cranky. So, Meandering Mike, the Man Cave of Madness. We have been doing our playthrough, how to play of In Magnificent Style, the deluxe edition from Worthington. We have finished 1 complete game turn with some interesting action there. So we didn't get to see all the different types of events, but we got to see a fair number of them. So hopefully that was a little exciting for you and a little illustrative for those of you that made it through to the end. Got the little payoff there of some of this nice action, especially Lawrence. And as I usually say, folks, take care and take care of your games, because they will take care of you. Enjoy your 4th of July. Coming up. Ciao.